in global variable, you can use global variable both in and out of the loop. We stop somewhere here, so that was why I was asking if we could do a review. But since we don't have anybody that have questions, so I am possibly not going to make a review. So we're going to continue. So I will starting with global variable. Like I said, in global variable, you use global variable to when you declare a variable, it becomes global because some variable can be used in loop, and we'll be talking about loop very soon. So, but this is a practical example of what I just want to share with us on global variable, because we'll be going deeper into it. For example, if you have two variables, you declare as x as white and y as black. You can access this variable by calling the variable method. What do I mean? When you define a variable, it can be anything, so you can add another variable here, like you can, let's say I add surveying, for example, or surveyor, for example. So this is white, is x, y is black, and z is surveyor. So if you define a variable, as you can see here, I define a variable named sterling. This variable can be anything, or let me remove this and replace this with surveyor. You can define your variable with whatever you want to define it. So how do you define a function? Now let me start with a function. A function is a block of code. Is simply defined as a block of code that it runs anytime you call it. Is a block of code that runs anytime you call it. So you call the function and it will run automatically. So what I mean by is a block of code that anytime you call upon it, it runs is this. If you look at the line 5 to line 9, you will see that this is a block. This is a block of code. This is a block. Now there is another block somewhere here. You can see another block somewhere here. Now what it means is that I am going to remove all of them. Now if you look at between line 5 to line 9, you will see that it is looking like a block. How do you define a function? To define a function is defined with the keyword def. A keyword, a built-in keyword, is a keyword that is recognized by Python. It is a built-in function that once you call upon that, it automatically know that it is a defining of function. Just like we have been using, if you say print, automatically the system knows is a built-in function. If you use something like in, the system knows it is a built-in function. Now if you put directory, for example, and you run the code, you're able to see the list of this thing here. Just like if you remember the last time, there is a place I made such example, but I can't really remember now. So maybe we can continue if you remember what I'm trying to say. But a function is a block of code that runs anytime you call it. So what do I mean? Anytime I call a particular particular function I define, it will run. Now it is not like printing. You see here, I say in line 5 is a block of code which is surveyor. Down here, from line 5 to line 9 is a block of code which I define the function as surveyor. So it means that anytime I call surveyor, all the block inside there will run. Now what do I mean? Like the normal way, let me connect and let me run the line of code. So it means that anytime I call surveyor here, it is going to print out this, which is I put Chinato, I put Osita, I put Prosper, and I put David. So these are different ways you can just put. So whatever you put here, once you call it, it will run up. Now remember, when we do concatenation, when we add up this thing here, we use plus sign plus x, and I have defined that x is equals to white and I have defined y is equal to black. So it means that whatever I call, anytime I call this, it is going to run. So it have connected. So if I run the code now, what answer will it give me? It is not going to give me any answer because I have not called this block of code. I just want you to understand here. Normally before, if I say, for example, if I copy this code and remove the indentation and paste this here, now if I run this code right now, it is going to give me Chinatu is white because this is, if you remember we talked about the indentation, that is the line we put in front of our code. So now look at here, this is a function, and since we have defined this function here, it is in the block, so it will not run until we call that function. How do you call a function? The way to call a function is not like this, because I didn't, when I say print this and this, it decided to give me Chinatu is white. But now I want to remove it and I will run the same code again. You will see that it's not going to give me anything. So now to print the block of code that is between here to here, which is 5, I am going to run the code with the variable which is surveyor. Remember, it is a variable and it's a block of code that anytime I call it, it will run. So if I run this code now, what is it going to do? It's going to give me everything in this particular block because there is a surveyor here, which is a function. I define function as a block of code that runs anytime you call it, because everything here is under surveyor. So once I run, I call the function surveyor, it is going to print whatever that is here. Did you get what I'm trying to define here? Do you have any confusion?
No, I
Hello,
don't have
sir.
any question.
Yeah.
I want to ask,
Okay.
this function,
Yeah.
is it only print that can be under function, or can we have an if statement, all those things under the function? And this one that has print, I noticed that once you run it, it will not print everything. You don't need to call the function before it will print.
Yes. Okay. Before I proceed with the answer, it is not only print. We are going to complex thing. Did you get? We just want to introduce this because one of the reasons why I say this is this. When we'll be talking about inheritance, polymorphism, and rest of them, you will understand what I'm talking about. This is just like entering into it. So it is not only print that is going to be there, because we are going to the function that we are going to be treating like this, where we have self and we have man, we have women, is going to go complex. We are going to talk about this when you pass a parameter inside it, but we are just starting, so we don't need to go deep. One of the example of this is this. When I have this down here, you have people in 500 level in your school, or you have all the continent in Africa, and you want to call all the continent in Africa. You don't need to save them somewhere. You can put them in a block of code like this. And once you call Africa, it is going to come out. Like this is just like a practical example. You can let's say you want to call, you define a function. Remember if keyword of function, and then you name it as Africa like this. Always make this, and you see the way the color is changing. You can put it in either in a whole this, but for the sake of when we are starting, I can just say like country, and I can say uh, one of the country in Africa. Let me just use that as an example. um, Africa, let's say something like Now, if you have, let me use this as example. You store this code in this way, and I see the way I put up that X is in Africa, and I go down here and then call Africa. Now, if I run this code as it is showing me that white is in Africa. Now, if you remember the way we define our this thing before, if, for example, you have something like Nigeria here. Now, if you run this code, you will see that you have Nigeria in Africa. I think some of those people that somebody want to join us, yeah, the people that want to join us are people who did not accept our listing. So yeah, so when you have Africa, it means that you can list the list of the country you have in here. You remember the way we did our distance. So we are talking about variable. Like let me give you another example before I now answer your question directly. Let's say I put this now. You are going to have an error because you did not pass. It is one. It's supposed to be one, and then I didn't put them in tuple, so I'm trying to put all of them like this. So we are going to verse to understand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that assuming you have some countries, you have many countries and the rest of them. Now instead of you now, this is Africa. Um, Nigeria is here, white is black. So if you want to pass this same thing, all you just need to do is you can copy this and then paste it under it, and if you change this to Y, because it is a block of code, if I mention Africa, it is going to say Nigeria is in Africa, black is in Africa. So this is what you get what I'm trying to say now. So you are going to like call it because it's a block of code. It is a variable. We store our variable inside it. So because it is a block of code, if I want to call the section of Africa, what will come out is only this. Did you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I want to call whatever that is under Kingsley, so what I can do is to type Kingsley, and what if I want to call whatever that is under surveyor, what I need to do is to type what is under surveyor. So I stored all of them together in that particular distance. So anytime I call that code, if I call it, because it is a block code, it's going to bring out, you see the first one here is here. Now let me separate it a bit so that you will understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to probably use a built-in function which I am going to name as plus sign, and also copy this, go down a bit under it and paste this and run it again. Now what I'm trying to say is that sorry, wrong. It's not supposed to be like. Okay, so if I run this particular code now, what I'm trying to do is I want to use this plus sign to separate it so that you can see what I'm saying. Now if you look down here, you will probably definitely see that we let me zoom this out a bit. Now if you look down here, you see that this is a block of code. Anytime I call surveyor, everything that I put under surveyor is going to come out. Chinato is X, Osita is Y, Prosper is Y, David is Y. So everything about that, which is why you see this last thing here, because I called the surveyor here. So it is a block of code that anytime you call it with the function you use in defining it, everything under it comes out. So you store your distance inside it, and when you call it, it comes out. Now, the perfect example I give you is that the names of the children, the names of your father's children can be stored with your father's name only here. Now, example, um, Daniel Ifanacho, you have brothers and you have sisters. You can choose to store the name, the male child of your father under male, and choose to store the female child of your father under female. And when you want to see all the female, you just need to type male. I don't know what I get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get.
So it is a block of code that anytime you call it, it is going to run. So you put them in the same block, and when you want to access what is in block one, you are going to get the rest of them. Now, what I mean is, if I have a block, this is block one, and then this is block two, then this is this is block three. Now, in this block, I decided to put Nulu in block one, and I put Blake in block 2, 1, and I put Collins in block 1, and I put Pacific in block 1, then I put Pablo in block 2. Okay, this is block 1, so I need to change this to be block 2 and probably change this to block 3. Now, you see, and the rest of the names here. Now, if I want to access people in block 1, what am I supposed to do? Now, I have stored this thing inside here, and I want to know who and who is in block 1. What I just need to do is to type block 1. And with typing block 1, I will access everybody in block 1. And you can see now, you see these are people in block 1. Nulu is Nigeria, Blake is black, Collins is black, and Pacific is black. Did you get what I'm trying to say now? By putting block 1, I don't need to print again. I don't need to start typing print. I have stored this information in blocks, and I want to know who is in block 1. I will be able to know who is in block 1 by calling block 1. I don't need to say Uchechukwu, Blake, come out. Collins, come out. Passy, come out. I don't need to do that. But because I've stored them in a particular, all of them in the same block, what I just need to do is to call block 1, and I will access every information about block 1. That is why I define variable as a block of code that runs when you call them. So when you call that particular block, it automatically comes out. Do you have any question here? Are you following me? Or you can ask your question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is just that same way. If you see this, and I want to know the block 1, for example, you want to know who are there, you can put up these things, and then when you run it, like you see now that it comes out that Nulu is a data scientist, Blake is a data analyst, this person is a data analyst, and this person is a data analyst. What do? I want to know those are people in block 1. If I want to access block 2, I will change the block 1 from here and replace it with block 2, and then I'll run it. Then when you open it up, it will give you access the same block 2 and give you the same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. Kingsley,
Yeah.
so, go back to that data analyst and data science data analyst.
Okay.
Is it possible for one,
Mm-hmm.
like in block 1,
Mm.
I want to print those that are data scientists in block 1? You know, in block 1 we have data scientists and data analysts.
Yes.
So is it possible for just that block 1 only, I want to print those that are only
Yes.
data scientists?
Yeah. It is possible. We are going into that.
All right.
Yeah. It is very very possible. So it is possible. This is a code. This is like once you need what you want, you can define it the way you write the code the way it is. That is the reason why if you want anything to happen on your phone, you press it like this and it goes that way. All of them are code. So we are going in deep into that. Just like I said, what we are just trying to do is like introduction. We are going to more complex thing when we'll be talking about polymorphism, inheritance, object and rest of them, we will start having we'll start not to understand each other. But once we pass that stage, you will really understand, appreciate what we are doing, because once we pass the basics, we'll start doing a project, and that is when you start seeing the essence of all these things we have been talking about every day. But for now, I want you to get the basics. So once you get the basics, we proceed. So this is just the same thing. So when we get there, we can access it just like the way we have it here. Pablo is a data scientist. Kiru is this, and Charles is this, and this person is this. So now, who can give me the way to correct this? If you look here, you see I have Kiru is a data scientist. From this last one is overlapping with each other. What should I do to fix this error? Nulu. Is Nulu still with us?
Yes, sir, I'm with you. But I was muted, sir.
Yeah. So tell me what I want to fix these small things here. What am I going to do to fix that problem? Do you have any idea?
Sir, please highlight it again.
The downside here, you see in Kiru is it is coming together. There is, I just want to like know, like bring back to what we did last time. Kiru is a data scientist. How do I fix this problem?
Okay, go back to where you put print. Please scroll
Okay.
to where you put print in Kiru is a.
Okay, this is it. What should I do here?
Okay, the the thing is that inside this string,
Okay.
put space. Put
Where?
space before the before the quotation mark. Like after the S, put space. Yes.
Okay.
Uh, Print again. Let's see.
Yeah, you are correct. You're correct. Um, Daniel, tell me what else I can do to fix the same problem she pointed out. If I don't want to use it that way, what else should I do? You have idea? All right. Let me tell you. You can also do the same thing she said here. You remember?
Sorry, I was talking. I did not know that I was muted.
Okay, so I've answered the question. So
Who's yeah,
I wanted us
yeah.
to like, yeah. So that's the second
Yeah.
thing we could do, and that solve the same problem. So this is just it, and I believe we understand what I mean by this aspect. And just note that I will be asking us almost every time what is um what is function, because I've talked about it. You get. All right. So I'll be moving ahead. Now, the next thing we need to talk about here again is, you see, we defined a variable here, and here we call it, now we have another variable inside here. So we're going to do a little bit confusion here, but I just want you to follow me. This is external, outside, but I come inside here again and define it. This is outside, and this is inside. This is global variable. This is local variable. Now, a global, because it is used outside, a local, because it is used inside. Now, I want you to look critically inside here. I said X is awesome.
Why is your stuff not
Sorry,
working? Sorry, sir. Let me add something before we continue with this new
Okay,
space. Sorry.
okay.
This I didn't hear. I didn't hear Fabio Daniel's response. Did he say the other way to go about that stuff is to add plus? Is it plus?
You could,
How? Apart from that,
mhm.
eh,
Okay, go ahead.
apart from that method I said of putting space, what other method can we use to put space without putting that one before the quotation mark?
Okay, you can do it here. This is where I highlighted.
Like space after the quotation mark
Did
before
you
the
see where I highlighted? Nulu, Nulu, she's out.
Sorry, Yes, sorry, I've been talking since I didn't even know. What if the one that is in the variable is not a string, is normal integer? How do we put space without putting it in this place first?
Yeah, that is why Daniel told you put comma and you can use this.
Okay, that means you have to introduce a string space.
Yeah, you can use this type of thing, and
Okay,
this is
okay,
having it, so it will give you the same. I guess that's what Daniel answered.
okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you too. All right, so we go to another one. What I am talking about now is going to be a little bit conflicting, but I just want us to calm down and understand what I'm saying. So, what I'm saying, I want us to calm down is I want you to critically look at what I am saying and get to understand it. Now, we have global variable and local variable. You, you get what I'm saying? We have global variable and local
Yeah.
variable. Yeah, so now if you look at this thing down here, you will understand that I have x is awesome. Now I now define this thing as sterling, or let me define this thing as Daniel, and then inside Daniel, and I said here that the variable I'm calling the function I'm defining is Daniel, and here I said x is sweet. After Daniel, I come down here and say x is sweet. This is local variable. Now, and I said here print Python is x, and then I say print Python is x, though sometimes hard. Now, when I go down to call the variable, let me remove this first. I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to change this thing to Daniel. Now, if you look here, if I run this code, you are going to see that x is sweet and Python is sweet, though sometimes hard. Lulu, can you tell me why he didn't call awesome? Do you know why?
you. Said,
Did
can I
you?
tell you why I didn't do it?
Why am I having sweet, 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 sweet when I supposed to have awesome? What happened? Do you know why?
Uh, no.
Okay, the reason is this. Let me just answer it with simple question here. The reason is that a is equals to 5 and a is equal to 10. And then if I say a, what do you think the answer will
Actually, if you call A now, your answer is going to be 10.
be? Okay, so do you understand the answer to the question now?
Yeah, they're having, yes, 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 yes. They're having the same variable title, and it's actually the last one that is going to be responded to.
So
The last one overrides the first.
okay, so do you understand what happened here now? Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now
Yes,
what
yes.
how do I assess that a who can do you know how I can assess this one if I want both of them are x? How do I assess this particular one? Do you know how I can assess it?
Oh, I think is that there was something you talked about one time.
Okay.
Oh, there's one list like that. I don't know. No, I don't know how you can access it.
Okay, the way we can assess it, you see what I did here, and it is going to print awesome. First, did you understand what happened here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Um, what happened? I didn't notice what you added. What did you add?
Print
I
X.
look at line 6. I now went to line 6 and say print Python is dash, and now it is replying to the line 1. Python is awesome. Instead of Python is X, do sweet, and sweet do sometimes hard. Did you understand what happened?
But what special thing did you do that made it leave the last one, which is the switch it's supposed to bring?
because of line
And
because of line 6.
okay, that means when you put print twice, it will.
No, it is not about twice. Look at the indentation, look at the location, look at the loop.
Okay.
Press play, let me see something, please.
You say
Play the code, let me see something.
I should clean it.
Play.
Okay.
Okay. But there's something you just did now.
Yeah,
You typed print X.
now the reason is this. Let me explain this. Python is an interpreter, it's not a compiler. C is a
Okay.
compiler, but Python is an interpreter. Now, what Python does is that it goes to line by line. Now, because of indentation, it's supposed to come, after what this code is supposed to be is to print line 4, line 5, and print line 6. But it printed line 6 first before printing line 4 and line 5. Did you get the gist now?
Yeah.
The reason is this. This is a loop. This is a block of code. Here to here is block of code. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is outside this loop. Do you see this? This 6 is outside, is bounded with line 1.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get what I said now?
Mm.
It is bounded with line 1. So it means that what I'm trying to tell you is that how you can access a variable in global and in local. You see, it didn't overwrite this one because what is supposed to be is sweet. Let me change it to beta. Now, if I change it to beta and run the same code again, you will understand what I'm saying. What happened? It accessed number 6 in this outside because
So
6 and number 1 is on the same line, but 2 to 5 is a block of code. Did you get one?
so
You get the point now.
yeah, so to access the that of the block now,
Mhm.
we 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 avoid putting line 6 in. We will continue with the indentation,
Yes,
like
you
from
continue with
line
this
5.
in anything that is within this indentation, even if I
Uh,
paste another one now and say
uh,
Python is this, so you will see that it will print Python is this thing into 3 before you see 1 to 3 before it printed this 3 first, which is inside here. This, did you get it now?
uh, but why is beta still coming at last one now?
Because I put another one outside here, number 9.
Okay,
Now,
okay,
what I
okay.
want you to know is this. Look at the arrangement. The first line here, beta, is in line 4. No, is in line 7.
Mm,
Now, instead of it printing line 9, it went back to line 4 and print line 4, print line 5, print line 6 before printing line 9. Do you know why?
because it's interpreting it line by line.
Great,
After 7, it went to 8.
great. That is what it means. Because the first thing it did is that it read this line and say, okay, this is X. The next thing it did was that it went to this line because after number 1, the next line that it's going to look at again is line 7. Based on this code we have written, then after line 7, it now discovered, oh, this guy put Daniel, that means he is calling this loop. It has to run back to line 3 and read line 3 and then return back again. When it finishes line 3, it run down again to line 9, and that is why you are having this. So
Okay.
these examples we are seeing might not be visible to you now, but you
So,
will understand it as we keep going.
sorry,
Okay?
but if I call the block first,
Okay?
which one will come first? Like if I put Daniel bracket, like if I call for the block first before line 7.
Like what you mean is something like this.
Yeah.
So when you call line advice, it have to, because the first thing you need to do is to read this first one first. It is running line by line, because after first line, the next thing it meets in this, look at this, there's a line that draws under here. You see the line?
Yeah.
So when it reaches this line, let me remove this one under here. Okay, let me put 5 here, and let me put 6 here, so that you will see the difference. Now let's look at it again. The first thing he did here was that the first, after interpreting line 1, it goes to line 2, but you didn't call Daniel until you get to line 7. So what he does is that the first thing he does is that he called read line 4, line 5, line 6, and then it will continue again in that outline. It will line what? 8. Then it will go again and repeat, because I put Daniel again, it will call this line 4, 5, and 6 again, which is why you have this one here, and then it will also repeat line 10. Did you understand the talk now?
Yeah, I understand.
So you need to take this critical, you need to look at this very well, because that's going to help you do a lot of things that's weak perceived. So what it means is we are talking about global variable and local variable, and this is how you can assess global and local variable. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I think on this note, um, this is just the same thing. But this is what I hear. The difference between what we did and that is that when you use the keyword global X, it means that you are trying to make this particular one global variable. Once you declare global X, it means you are now declaring the other one. Means that you are declaring that particular
Please.
one the global variable. Is that okay? What I explain now. Once you put the same thing we did, let me use this as example. You see, we did here. If look at here, I put under here, I put global X. So if I now come down here and write global, that is a global is a keyword, and then I run this code again. What will happen is that, sorry, global X, because it was X that I defined. What will happen is that I will simply tell this thing to ignore the first thing beta, but whatever that here becomes global. That means a local variable can be a global variable by declaring it a global variable. Did you understand what I'm saying now?
Mm,
I know you didn't understand. Let me explain again. I'm going back to
okay.
what it was. This is a global variable, right? This beta up here.
Yes.
Now, and this is a
Yes.
local variable, the sweet here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I don't want the beta to be a global variable, what will I do? I will go down here and type global X and run the code. You will see that all the beta here will disappear, meaning that ignore this man. What is global now is what is here. You still don't understand?
So, what? I understand. Is there also a way for you to? Sorry if I'm drawing us back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there also a way for you to um, take away the beta without adding the global X? Like let beta don't print without
Then,
adding global X.
then what you mean is removing it like this.
Okay.
And once it is like
So,
that, that means line 3 will not be effective. Did you see what I'm saying?
mm,
What I mean is that once why you are putting global is that you want to like you don't want to remove this. You want this to still be here. Do you get? But you want to declare it like a global, make what is under here a global variable. You can. But this is a practical example. let me show you something now. Now I put y as cancel, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to change this to y, and then I'm going to come down here and declare x global x, right? And I'm going to run the code.
Mm.
Now what it means is that cancel is not affected. Did you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you use this type of situation is when you have many variables up here, but you want to only isolate one of them, which is x, to make the x global. You see now the beta is replaced. Now if you do get what I'm trying to say, yeah, I just want to isolate one particular and make it global variable, but the rest will be here. So the need
Okay.
is always there. Do you get what I'm saying?
So it answered my previous question on that data scientist, data analyst, how you can call one of them
Okay, yeah, that this
from
is
the
also,
block.
yeah, this is also part of the ways. It's also a bit synchronized to it. It's also a bit weird. You get the point now.
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Do anybody else have question? Because I might be moving to another section, because I've talked about the global variable here a bit, and then I will be going to next other section. We have talked about different types of data, but what I'm going to talk about now is random. Okay. Do you have any question? Because I want to talk about random a bit.
No question from me.
I should go ahead.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, please.
All right. I want to talk about models. We are going to be talking about models soon, but why I want to talk about models is because variable, random variable, it is variable as well. So, but for us to use random, we need to import a model. Now, a model is something you can use elsewhere. Like it is simply a file. You can put it in Python and save it elsewhere. And when you call that particular this thing, you will be able to access it. What I mean by it's a bit, okay, let me not go take us far. If not, I wanted to show us what we mean by a models, but just know that a models is like a file. You can import your code into it and import it in another code. We'll be using something, for example, if I want to put, when we'll be doing import, you will see that we're doing import this as this, import this as this, import this as this. We're talking about import pandas as PD, import this as this. That means these are models that have been somewhere saved somewhere else. So you can import them. You can call it from here, import from here, import. So it is just like a file you say. So one of the models we are going to use today is what we call random. So in random, all you just need to do is you just call to import random, and then you print random dot rand range, then you call it. Now if you run this code, it means that you are calling a variable. If you remove this import, it won't run because you have to, it's a model, so you have to import random as a model. So you dot it is rand range. Now the range is that I want you to give me a random number between 1 or 2. So we could possibly use this to play a game. We program a game that you can call it a gauge number. You put select, we can make it, and you can say input a number, and then you say like what I mean is that you can make a game that looks like this. Let me give you an example, and then you let's say that, and you can make a game that looks like a is equals to input, then something like this, and you can make a b is equals the same thing. Let me just use this as an example. And when you run the code, it will ask you to put a, and then I'll put 2. I'll press enter to ask me to put, and I'll press this, and then this is going to give me, this is the strings error. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say, because it is going to come down here and bring on this. So what I'm saying is that you can program a game which you are going to guess a number. So when you put a random, you put 2 numbers, which is where the number is going to start and where the number is going to end. So it means that from random, it's going to be, anytime you run the code, it's going to give you a number between 1 to 3. So if I run it again, it's a random number, it's going to give you 1. If I run it again, it's a random number, it's going to give me 2. If I run it again, it's a random number, it's going to give me 1. If I run it again, it's a random number, it's going to give me 2. So the more you expand this number and keep running it, you're going to have a random number 1. You run it again, it's going to give you a random number that is 3. You run it again, it's going to give you another random number 1. So it is like a random. So it is a variable. So it's a random variable. So where you have all these numbers and you can put it in between here. So we are going to do, when we're using for loop, so we're going to go more about it, and we're going to explain it extensively, how you can use the random number more, and then how you can use range. How, because you see here we use range here, which is rand.range. So in this, you can say import random as rm. So let me use rx for example. So what it means is when you come here, you put it rx. Now you run the same code again. Now it means that this rx is replacing this. This rx, that is when you are importing it as. So if you don't want to, you can also put it as r, and you run this code now, because this, you're going to have this. So it's supposed to also be like this dot r. So what it means is random.rand range of 1 to 10. So if you don't want to put as, you just know that from here you're going to replace it with what it is, which is random as it is here. So when it is random, so you run the same code again, it's going to give you a number between 0 to 10. And we all know what is 0 to 10. That means it's going to give you a number between 1 here to 9, because it is 1, 0 as in 10. So meaning that it is 1, 9, that's 9. So it's going to give you this range of numbers. So it is also a variable. So because as it is now, you have assigned a value into it, and this value is going to be ranging between those two. So that is what we call a random variable. Is that okay? Do you have any question before I now go ahead? Okay, so this is just the same thing. We have talked about this a bit. We talked about how you can put many words in using 3 quotation. This is just like either single or double quotation. We have also talked about this, but I'm going to use this a bit to talk about slicing, because we're going to be talking about looping through a string. Now, the perfect example is that I have all these numbers, and like we have said, from here to here is a string. So you can put these strings in this way: single quotation, double quotation, or triple quotation. Either double triple quotation or double single quotation. Any of them can work. Now when you run this, it's going to bring you the answer to everything that is here. The same thing we put inside here, it's going to come out. Now the same thing that happened here, this is the triple double quotation, and this is triple single quotation. So if you do the same thing, it's going to come here. So we are now going to loop through the string. How do we loop through it? Now if you look here, you will see that these are words here from here to here. Now once these words from here to here, there are many of them, so we can actually access each of them to see how many there are. For example, when you have this, if I want it to print between a particular number, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how it counts it until you get to whatever it is. So if I want to get the total number it is, I am going to look through them, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now to look through them, I am going to say that print A. We already have A here, but I want it to be between 50 to 80. What do I need to do? If you run this code, it's going to print between 50 to 80. Now, if I now put it like this, if I want it to print 0, for example, this is a list. So, and Python always starts from 0. So if I want to put 0, it gives me nothing. What if I want to print 1, which is to access the first distance? It only gives me t, the 1, the t. What if I want to access the 2 inside here? It only gives me the h. Now, what if I want to access from these? I want to see this. It means I can put 1 is to 5. Now, if I put 1 is to 5, I can only access there. This is access from 1 and stop at 4, not including 5. Remember what happened when we're using random. It doesn't include this last 10. It only stops at 9. So it means here I want it to access from 0 to 4. So if I want to print this, which is in 5 number, I have to put it here and then I'll put 6, and it will be able to give me 6 because I want to put this. If I want to print between here to here, I need to also increase the number, so I can put this thing into 56. Print from 1 to 56. It only access from 1 to 56 words. That is later. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 56. So it's going to count, and this is where 56 stops. Now, if I want to print to G, meaning that this is another space here, I count 1 again, 57 and 58. So I have to change this here to make it 58. And when I run it, it's going to print the empty GE for me because this is where it stops. I don't know what I get one correct. So this is how we can access a particular distance inside this.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Please put 50 to 80 again. I want to check something.
This is what we have.
Okay.
Started from here to there are many here.
Okay. All right.
So now what it means is that if I want to print from 50 to the end, I could possibly do something like this. Did you get the point now?
Yeah.
If I want to print from 50 to the beginning back, I can do something like this. The beginning to where we have 50. You get the point now?
Yes.
So I am not going
Please, can you zoom in a little? I hardly see this, please.
Okay, sir. Are we good now? Is it better?
All right, let's go. Thank you.
All right. So you can use it to access any particular letter you want. We are going to be doing something like natural language processing. Like it's going to be a project where you can script a particular document and able to find what's inside there, like the way machine learning works. So you can have a full document, or you can have entire, and you search for a particular thing you want inside there. So you can access anything you want inside there. So if you want to print from the beginning to the end, you see what I did here is that from 0 to 5 give me. So it means I can define beginning to the end. And I can also put 5 this, and then when I run this type of code, it's going to throw an error because there is an invalid listing here. But I can do this same thing. For example, I can put 5 here as this. What happened is going to bring an issue here also. What if I put only 5 and run the code? It's going to give me the number 5 of it, which is E. And then what if I put -5? What will happen? If I put -5, it means that I am telling it go back and read a particular. So let me say I put -5 to -10 and then I run the code. Then it means that I am telling it negative go a negative. So but if I put negative and +5, so this is how you can access different things inside here. It is still nothing. So what if I now remove it and put -15? It is going to go negative from the backwards and collect this. So what it means is that the -15 means is that from the last number, count 15 letters from. You do get what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah, so it is just the same way you can put positive. The same way you put positive, you can put negative. Then what if you put this dot here and put the -15 in front of it and remove the -15 from the beginning and run the same code again? So what it means is that you are going to get whatever you want in the other format, which is don't include the last -15 number. Print everything I need from the beginning, but don't add the last number. Now, this we are just talking about number. We are going to go deep because there are a lot of things you can access like this, not just the numbers. Example, if as a data scientist and you are given a bulk of people who registered uh, between 1st January to 31st January, and your manager came to you and asked you, remove everybody who registered, the last 50 people who registered, I don't want to see them. How do you assess them? The last 50 people that registered, I don't want to see them. Then what you need to do is that if each of these are one individual person, and my manager came to me and said, Kinsley, remove the last 50 people that registered. So what I just need to do is I can just see like this is how I can access the last 50. So this is the last people who came to me. Remember, you are a surveyor and you are using data. You know about stack, queue, first in, first out, and rest of them. This is what works in this. Like you're trying to print the document in the printer, and you print from page 1 to 10, and the page started coming out one by one. This is how you access all these things. So it is not just like we're only using it in a word here. No, it is not just like we're using it in a word. It is also what happened. You're a data scientist or a surveyor, and they're collecting data in the field, and it is all of them is going with time. How do you assess what comes the following day? It is by this. So there are different ways you can employ this. But as we're in the beginners in this like this, so use this way so that you can understand it. So if your boss asks you the last 50 people who registered, how do you assess this? How you can assess it. Then if he asks you, oh, can you give me the first 50 people that registered? What do you need to do? You can assess it like this is the first 50 people. Meaning that from 50 and above that registered, I want to see the first 50 people that registered. What will you do? You can possibly put it up and then show him, sir, this is the first 50 people that registered. So see, oh, this is the first 50 people that registered. You can see now, these are the numbers down here are the first 50. Do we have any issue now? I don't think we have any issue. And if you want to see all of them, you can access all of them by just putting the double sign inside of it, meaning from the beginning to the other side of the end. Leave everything for me. So this is the aspect of assessing. This is the aspect of assessing a word that you have. Now, another thing is you can also assess this thing one by one. You can see here we have here, let's say you put up something like this and say something like this and run this code, and then you'll be able to say this is the total number of words that are inside here. What do I mean? If I want to know the length of this letter from the beginning to the end, I want to know how many people here. I will just remember this word I'm going to say. It is called print. When you put print and you put LEN and you call what it means length. If you want to see the length of the letters, you can see that the total length of this thing is 210. By using LEN, that is length, you can access the total number of the string. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
But can you do the sorry?
Okay.
Can you do the counting word by words?
By counting it word by word, how? By using your hand to count it.
Like no, if you press print,
Okay.
if you want to print the first five now,
Mm-hmm.
it will give you in letter.
Okay.
Via the it will give you the first five letters.
Okay.
But if you want to print them words, like print the first five words, is it
Okay.
possible?
Yes, we'll print it. We'll go into that because I think down here we're supposed to be treating something that is existing in, like checking, like something like this. You can check up a string and print the first five words. Now, in the first five words, you need to define what they are, and so that you'll be able to define this is the first five words. So each letter, each word comes on its own. You know that this is the first one or the second one. So you'll be able to get it. But the one we are now is to count the total length, like the length of them. Count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even if they are 100, if you see this now, if I copy this, it is 210. And if I copy again and paste it like this, I don't know how many it is, but by putting length, I will be able to see it is 419. You get the point now?
Yes.
So I am counting for each of them. So remember the keyword, as many as a word is, as you see this, you see the length, even if I put whatever I want inside it, I should be able to count the length, and it is going to tell me that it is 49. I don't need to like know whatever it is. So what I just need by using the length keyword, it's going to tell me how many words it is. So this is how you can access the total number of words in a particular strings by using the length keyword. So by length keyword, you should be able to access it. So this is how you can access this. So using length keyword, you can access each of the strings. So now another thing we will talk about quickly because we still have like 15 minutes remaining. We are going to talk about, we have talked about looping through the strings. We have talked about strings length. We are going to talk about checking the strings. That is how you can check the strings. Now this is a looping. Now to loop through a string, to loop through, you see the way I put up my name. Once you put for C in name, it is not going to be only C. Now, example of what I'm saying is that I'm going to add a distance here, and I'm going to say that A is equal to Python, and then I want to access each of the letter. I can say for X in A. Remember, for X in A, you can now, because it is in this thing, you can now say print A. Now, what do you mean? You want to print each of the letter inside Python. For X in A, print this. So that means for X in A, let us get it like this. This letter Python is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you look here, you see that we have 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As an interpreter, it's going to run for the first one. For X in A, give me the first one, Python, run again, Python, run again, Python, run again, Python. But if I say for X, for A in A, print this, it is going to print them one by one. You get the point now?
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's understood.
the this thing is, I'm going to paste the last one here. I'm going to pick the paste thing again and just change this thing to X. It can be X, it can be C, it can be even, you can even put it for Blake in A. You can put it whatever you want inside here, and it's going to loop through. In as much as this Python is this. Now let me change the Python to me. It's going, how many times is it going to loop out? It's going to loop into 2, because only me is 2 times. If this word increase to programming like this and you loop it inside programming, it is going to go as many times as it's programming. That is for Blake
So
in A.
sorry, sir, how did you really do this loop?
Matters arise. Okay, what I did is this. There are 2 things I just want you to get these 2 things. The first thing I did here is that I said A is equal to Python, and I say for A in A, meaning that I want to access each of these letter here. Did you get the point now?
Yes, yes.
So it is going to, this is the result of it, is this Python in this way. But for Blake in A, it's going to print by counting first Python, second Python, third Python, fourth Python, fifth, according to the number of Python here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to have 6 loops.
So,
So why
so
did you
Hmm?
okay, go ahead, Fabio Daniel.
Okay.
sorry. This, like you use, first of all, you use X in A,
Okay.
and now you're using Blake in A. So we
Yes.
can use anything.
Yes, you can even use Lulu and run it. What is interested is how many is Python. Can I ask a
Okay.
question?
Yeah, go
Ask.
ahead.
In number 3, I want to only print Python. I want to only print pi. Py. What should I do, please?
For AB in A. I don't know.
I think that's you are going to array. It will not be like maybe for A in A, you not do print A, then you not put 0 and 1.
0,
Am I correct?
0
And
and
1.
1, like this.
Uh, ew. Which one am I seeing? A107.
So A is not defined. You are close. You are very close, Nulu, and that is amazing. This is what you could do. You get the point now. This is out of range because the out of range is PO3. There is A equals to 1, and it is out of range. Yeah, this is print from the beginning to 1, print from 6, which could probably be out of range, not out of range. Now from minus, let us print from 1 to 3, and this is just how you can access each of them. So just like Nulu said, that is correct. But the reason why this one is not showing us anything is because we said for A in A. You get the point now?
I'm confused.
You're confused. This is what happened with the last one. I'm saying that because I said A in A, that is why this place is blank, because you didn't see anything. But I want to print. Okay, let me remove this one to avoid this thing that's coming to happen very soon now. Fight will start. I don't want that fight. Alright, did you see this?
Mm,
I only want to
yes.
print pi. Remember, in Python, py, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. If I want to print ton, remember 0, 1, 2. So I am going to put 2 here, and I pi ton. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm supposed to put 6 here. And when I run this code, I'm supposed to have turn. Remember, this thing I'm asking now is this thing I just talk about now is you're going to do it in assignment. So I want you to understand this because I want you to access a particular word inside a particular in a given sentence. So I want you to look at what I did now. I only want to access turn. If I want to access horn, what should I do? I'll change this to and I should be able to access horn. Then what if I want to access Python? I'm still correct. If I change this into 4, what should I have? I'm going to have Python.
Right.
Remember the same principle. What if I change this thing to negative here? What should I have? It means that I'm going to have error because it is out of range. Then what if I put negative 4 and then go back here and access this? What am I going to have? I'm going to have
On. No, on.
turn. So it simply means that this thing you see here is the same thing as having 3 here and having 6 here. That is turn. Sorry, 2. Sorry. So it means that 2 to 6 is the same thing as. Did you get the point now?
Yeah.
2 to 6 is the same thing as negative 4. You will just know this because it's a mathematics. You can access this and then it means that anytime you want to replace the same value, you need to say 2, what is here minus what is at the last, you get the front one. That is, carry it over this way. You get what I'm saying? It simply means that if this is 3, it means that 3, negative 3 and negative 3 the same thing. That is negative this and negative this give you the same. Do you get what I'm saying now? Do you see now? It gives me on. If this place is 4, if this place is 1, it means that negative 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So I have to change this to negative 5. It is still the same thing. You get the point now?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how you can look through a strings, and that is what I want to explain. Talked about, and we have 7 minutes to have fun. This is what, and I have talked about lengths. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about before we close is slicing, indexing. I've talked about slicing, indexing, and the only thing I'm going to talk about is checking strings. Now, what do I mean? To check a strings, it is simple. If you have all these strings here, and you want to check whether if this is 5 million words, you want to check whether there is this word inside, what are you going to do? Call the word, use the in function and check. Check is input the function and use the in function to check. What do I mean? I'm going to run this code and I want to say that I want to know whether is there 2 inside it, and then it's going to say true because there is 2 inside it. But if I run this code and say null and press enter, there's no null inside here. So it is going to check whatever that's inside here and tell me whether it exists. That is the reason why when you're typing in your Microsoft Word, you press, for example, if I press Ctrl F on my keyboard, this will come here. If I want to check null in this entire code we have been reading, for example, I've been writing, you will see it show me wherever I see have. You get the point now. So in that same way or in that same case, we are going to do the same thing where we need to check the strings inside whatever we have. So we give a particular words and we should be able to see whether those words exist inside. So that is what we're trying. So how do we check? We use in. It must not be check. Remember that it is not going to be check, but we use in inside it. That in gives us this is null. x and then print Nulu x. Now if I run this code, you see that it's going to say, if I put right and press enter, it's going to say false because there's no right inside here. What is the strings what is the built-in strings that does this work? The built-in strings that does this work is in. You get the point now?
Go again.
I say the word
So,
in is used to check whether a particular thing is inside here. A strings, a letter. If you want to look for something, we use in to look for it. Just like, for example, the way you type in Google to search for a particular word on Google. What happens
Yeah.
when you go to Google and then you search for a word? Google is a database, and I am searching for a word. I want to change to search for overpass, for example. So when I'm searching for overpass, it's going to run across database of Google to tell me, oh, when I click enter, it's going to search and bring overpass for me. And that's why you can see overpass here. You get the point now? So if I change this overpass now to overpass toolbar, search for it, it's going to bring me to this site because there is it contains is inside it. Now this is where I am because I talk about overpass, so it brings me automatically. So because there is a content in its overpass is contained. So the same way you can search for a letter using inside this letter here because I define it as a database. Now a becomes the variable of the database I use to store the data. So when I'm looking for a particular thing, if I want to look for example, there's example here, and then I can put example. Now I can click enter. It came false. Why? Because there is examples, not example. You get the point now?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. On this note, we are not going to go to modification of strings. So we start with modification of string next time. And while we do that, we'll be following our training line by line. So we are done with variable, we are done with of Python, we are done with random number, we are we are done with casting, we are done with Python strings, and the length is what we treated, that is in, just like what we said. But also let me talk about not in so that I know that I finish it up. So the next thing we are going is we talked about slicing. Next time we start with modification of string. Yeah, we have 2 minutes. Let me talk in, not in, and then I'm going to make it better. So not in, that is, if you want to check a word that is not in something, what do you need to do? You put not in. How? I'm going to just copy. I'm going to add another. I'm going to add another this, and I will say check a not in. So not in, run the code, and it's going to give you that if I type in and I press enter, it's going to say true because not in is like I'm trying to say opposite of this. But if I run it again and I put a, as you can see, a is inside it, it's going to be false because there is a inside it, and I'm saying that it's not. Did you get the point now? It's just like the opposite of in,
Yeah.
it's not in. Is that okay?
yeah.
On this
Yes.
note, this is where we are going to stop. So we continue next time. Do you have any question?
I'm sorry.
Okay, go
There's
ahead.
time my network hang.
Okay.
Uh, there is time you, in place of this check, I saw is in Nulu X. before my network hang. I don't know what you
Okay,
did here.
what I'm
Sorry.
saying, yeah, I put down Nulu as I'm saying that you see this check I put here. You get,
Yes.
I am just trying to check if it is inside here. You know, you can remove this line 7, but you know, I like us to do like smart. You can remove the line 7 and just put check in because you are putting a string. It is true, like you're trying to check a strings, but I just want us to be like when you put it in, you get check in A, check in A. So I just want you to put check here because it is going to select the strings for you, like the way enter the check like enter the strings you want to put. I want to check for NC, and then when I finish for NC, I press enter. It's going to bring me whether NC is not is false. So I'm saying that you can still use Daniel here. You get it? So all you need to when you put Daniel, remember to like what you are looking for Daniel that you want to check for. Any letter you enter or any strings that you enter in Daniel is what you are looking for. So it means now enter what you want, and I put anything and press enter is saying false because such word does not exist. But if I run just, there is a just here. So let me type just some and press enter. It is going to be true because just some are here. If I run again and say just some in and I press enter, it is going to be false because there is just some, there is in here, but it is not the same on the straight line. So this is going to be like here. I'm going to control of them and run it again because it is following in that pattern. It is going to tell me the truth because it is existing that pattern. You get the point now? I'm saying that this place I put check. You get,
I
you
can
can
use
use
another
check
word.
here, you can use another word that it is not we understand the difference between inbuilt. Anything that is inbuilt. Do you see the way this color change in? Do you see the change of this color? Do you see this change of this color? Anything that is
Yeah,
inbuilt
yeah.
is supposed to have a different, even when you are typing the code, it's supposed to come differently. So this is what it means. Do you have any other question? Is that okay?
There's something you said about good evening
All right.
or good morning. Will never enter money.
Yeah.
There's something you said about global data and local data. That's when I joined in England.
Okay. Global
That's
and local variable.
very
Yeah, I
good.
said global can be used outside, while local can be used inside. Now, this is a global variable here. Now, if you look at this line, this is a global x is a global variable. I gave a simple example here. You remember when we say x is equal to 10, and I say x again is equal to value. If I say here and I say print x, what answer? What do you think is going to give me? What's the result?
It will give you, it will give you Pablo.
Yes. So based on our listing, we have understand that it is going to give me value, right? But if I remove this and print x now, it is going to give me 10, right? Now, to answer this question, I have x here, but I have another x inside here. Now, but because this is in a loop, this is a loop. So once I call this, it is going to give me everything that is here and not minding this. Because if I remove line 7 and run this code, it's going to give me something like this first one, second, third one. Look at first and second, fourth also. Now see, it give me x is sweet. It didn't override this. There is still awesome here. Did you get the point now? So this is outside the loop. And if you look at this line here, you will see that x is on the same line with spelling and x is on the same line with print. So it accesses these two things here He didn't overwritten it. It was not overwritten. Like that, because it is in global outside, he decided to bring it down. So that is why we make this explanation here. And I told us that this is X sweet, this is X bitter. And when I run this code, it will give me this size, and there is no bitter here because I have used this global variable here. But if I remove this global X, like I delete it now, and run the code again, it means that it is going to bring bitter. Look at the bitter here. Look at the bitter here. But when I go back and say global X, I go back there and say global X, which is like telling it override every X you see here, make the X here, which is the global one, instead of this, make the local variable the global one. So automatically it sees that this bitter is now overridden. So this sweet now global. So if I run this code now, this bitter here will go return to sweet. You see it now, return to sweet automatically because I have said global X, it means make this particular global variable. Is that okay?
Okay, I think what I understood here is when you loop,
Yeah.
there's always a space. There's always a space before you write. That's in looping. That's when you say it is looping. And when you do not loop, then it there's no space before the letter or before the printing. Like
Come.
like from these four, from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
You said all of them are loop.
Yeah, it is in under this function of Daniel. So just like I
Yes.
said earlier, that a function is a block of code that runs once you call upon it. So it means that look at this
Okay.
example here. Now this is a global variable. Is a data scientist, is a data analyst, is a global variable. Now this is a block 1, block 2, block 3, and I put Lulu in block 1, Blake in block 1, Collins in block 1, Pacific in blocks 1. I go to block 2, I put Pablo, Ukiru, Charles, and Chika, and I go to block 3 and put this. Now it means that if I want to access each of these blocks, if I want to look for who is in block 1, I don't need to start looking for them. I just need to come and call block 1. All the people in block 1 will come and look at it. Once I call it, all the people in block 1 will come. And if I want to know who is in block 2, all the people in block 2 will come. Just like the way we used to share group, and I put Pablo group 1, Blake group 2, Collins group 1. And if I want to call who is in group 1, instead of me going to call Uche come out, you're in group 1, this person come out in group 1, I'll just put all of you in block. And once I call block 1, all of you just come out. You have how do I, which other example would I give you that is practical? If you are in a school or in a class and they say all men except Bobrisky, if they say all men come out, you know every man have to come out because they are in block of men. So it will be if you say all women come out, all women will come out because they are in block of women. So it is just that same way. So we put them in block. And the block here is Daniel. And when I call the block of Daniel, everything will come. Same thing here. I put all these things in block. The function is a block of code that run when you call it. So when I call people in block 2, see now Pablo, Kiru, Charles, Chika come out. But if I want to go to block 1, when I run block 1, you see now that Kiru, Blake, Collins, Pacific come out because they're in block 1. Get the point now.
Yes, is block a kind of a default name? Can you use the word team instead of block?
Yeah, no, you can use anything. As it is here, I can use
Class.
all I need to do is when I want to call people under com department, I'll go to come
Okay.
here and say come.
Okay.
And all the people in come department come out.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like grouping. Put them here. If you like, call them play. And when you go here, all you need to do is people that belongs to play beside us. No, not come out. Just need to call play. And then they come out. We'll be dealing with errors soon so that you know when you have an issue, you know where it is coming from. We are going to deal with the exceptions. So this is it now. When I call the play, come out. Just like I said, block it is not a must. But remember, like I said, there are some of the letters that are, when it change color, you should know why it change color. For example, since we are giving us this type of this, so you should know why is it changing color. Just like the same way I put the block here, and this block didn't change color, but the block here changed color. You should know why. So when I run this now, all the block comes out. Any other question? Alright, on that note, we have added 11 minutes to our training, and then on that note, we'll be stopping here as we proceed. Do you have any question? Alright, upon not having question, thank you. We continue on WhatsApp. See you next time, and then have a
All right. Thank you, sir.
alright, boss.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you,
Alright,
sir.
sir.